In the heart of America's booming cities, amid poverty and opportunity, a shadow began to grow. From humble beginnings in immigrant neighborhoods, the Italian American Mafia would rise to become one of the most powerful criminal empires in history. It would shape politics, terrify cities, and rewrite the rules of loyalty and betrayal. This is the story of how a secret society embedded itself in the American dream through blood, business, and brotherhood. Welcome to the untold truth behind the Mafia, La Cosa Nostra. Chapter 1. Roots in Sicily and the Immigrant Struggle. The Mafia's journey begins in the hills of Sicily, where centuries of oppression, from Bourbon kings to foreign occupiers, fostered distrust in government and a reliance on secret societies for protection and justice. Known as La Cosa Nostra, or Our Thing, the Sicilian Mafia governed by omertà, a code of silence and strict loyalty. As Italian immigrants flooded Ellis Island in the late 1800s and early 1900s, many brought these traditions with them. In American cities like New York, Chicago, and New Orleans, men like Giuseppe Morello and Ignazio the Wolf Lupo formed the first mafia crews. Morello, one of the earliest known bosses in New York, ran counterfeit operations and racketeering schemes while navigating a volatile underworld populated by Irish, Jewish, and other ethnic gangs. These early mafia groups found footing in communities where distrust of the authorities made them appear as protectors, despite their criminal aims. Chapter 2. Prohibition and the Mafia's Rise to Power. Prohibition, 1920 to 1933, was the catalyst that turned local mafia gangs into national crime syndicates. Italian mobsters took full advantage of the ban on alcohol, setting up extensive bootlegging operations. They controlled smuggling routes, speakeasies, and bribed police and politicians to look the other way. Al Capone, the most infamous of them all, ran Chicago's underworld and orchestrated brutal enforcement like the St. Nato Valentine's Day Massacre. In New York, Frank Costello, Vito Genovese, and Joe the Boss Masseria battled for dominance, often allying with or fighting against Jewish mobsters like Meyer Lansky and Bugsy Siegel. This period saw immense bloodshed, but it also revealed the Mafia's ability to organize, adapt, and enrich itself through vice, positioning them as dominant players in America's urban landscape. Chapter 3. The Commission and National Expansion. In the early 1930s, Charles Lucky Luciano emerged as the mastermind who restructured the American Mafia. After orchestrating the murders of bosses Masseria and Salvatore Maranzano, Luciano ended the Castellamarese War and created the Commission, a governing body made up of the most powerful mafia families to prevent infighting and settle disputes. The five families of New York, Lucchese, Gambino, Genovese, Bonanno, and Colombo, formed the foundation of this council, along with powerful families from Chicago, the outfit led by Frank Nitti after Capone's fall, Buffalo, and Philadelphia. Under Luciano's vision, the Mafia evolved from chaotic street gangs into a nationwide criminal enterprise controlling gambling, narcotics, loan sharking, and labor unions. His ally Meyer Lansky helped launder mob money through legitimate businesses and laid the groundwork for mafia expansion into Cuba and Las Vegas. Chapter 4. The Golden Era and Cultural Infamy. By the 1950s and 1960s, the Mafia had infiltrated American society from the inside out. Carlo Gambino, Vito Genovese, Joseph Bonanno, and Sam Giancana became household names, both feared and revered. Through control of unions like the Teamsters and figures like Jimmy Hoffa, the Mafia influenced industries from shipping to construction. Las Vegas became a financial goldmine. Using Teamsters' pension funds, the mob built casinos like the Stardust, Tropicana, and Flamingo, with figures like Tony the Ant, Spilotro, and Frank Lefty Rosenthal running operations behind the scenes. Pop culture glamorized this world. Films like The Godfather, 1972, mirrored real-life figures, Don Corleone bearing similarities to Frank Costello, and TV shows like The Sopranos later humanized mobsters, contributing to their mythos. Chapter 5. Law enforcement strikes back. With organized crime reaching new heights, the U.S. government launched a counteroffensive. The Kefauver hearings in the 1950s exposed mafia activities on national television. But the real game-changer came in 1970 with the RICO Act, Racketeer-Influenced and Corrupt Organizations Act, enabling prosecutors to dismantle entire crime families. FBI Director J. Edgar Hoover, once reluctant to acknowledge the mafia's existence, finally shifted focus. Joe Pistone, operating undercover as Donnie Brasco, infiltrated the Bonanno family, leading to major indictments. Informants like Gambino underboss Sammy the Bull Gravano recognized the end was near and turned state's witness, helping to bring down John Gotti, the flamboyant Teflon Don of the Gambino family. Large-scale trials like the Commission trial of 1986 sent top bosses to prison, marking the beginning of the mafia's unraveling. Chapter 6. Decline, Survival, and Legacy. By the early 2000s, the mafia's grip had weakened. Many leaders were incarcerated or dead, and new threats, like Russian and Latin American cartels, rose to prominence. Surveillance technology and aggressive prosecution made secrecy harder to maintain. Yet remnants of the old guard persist, particularly in New York and New Jersey, operating in a more discreet and decentralized fashion. Today, the mafia's legacy lives on through media, museums, like the Mob Museum in Las Vegas, and academic research. Names like Luciano, Gambino, and Capone remain part of the American lexicon, symbols of both menace and mystique. The mafia left an indelible mark on American history, not just through crime, but through its influence on labor, politics, culture, and identity. Behind the suits and stories, behind the fear and fascination, lies a truth that shaped a nation. The mafia is not just a tale of crime, it's a lens into the soul of America. In every secret meeting, every coded conversation, and every silent betrayal, history was written in the shadows. History in the Shadows. Like, share, and subscribe for more untold stories.